Allora, buonasera. It's another Thursday night live, and it was a sunny day. It was a funky week with weather, like being between hot and warm. You don't really know. It looked very warm, but it wasn't that warm. And on moments it looked very cold, but then it wasn't very cold. So in fact, I think it's a bit like the times we are in, if I think about it. And generally, I don't really think too much about the weather. I just take it as it is, and also I take these times as they are in a way, just being trapped and then again released at the same moment. And anyway, and in a free way of exchanging and talks and moments. That's also how the selection of the artists of the night and the invitations go out and come back and it's always a mutual invitation, basically, of ideas and exchange. And yeah, so tonight we have a great variety of styles. Basically, if we say if music was like food or something in a Shakespearean way, I would say we cover. No, that's not a good. If music is like time, we can go back quite in history from the repertoire that some performers are able to perform and work on up to the 21st century and even beyond. And there is from old classic instruments ever since people started to play music up to new programs and new developments and everything will be part of it. So yeah, I'd like to make a one song to initialize everything. This is like sparking the fire. And it's a song that I love to play for a couple of years now. Every now and then I do play it. It's called You Belong to Me, and it's a song by Bob Dylan that's not written by Bob Dylan, in fact. But I mean, I just know it from him, and it's really a good, nice version. And I play it on guitarlele. And it is, one of the very few songs that Dylan just did cover, basically, and didn't write. And normally it's the other way around. But anyway, so this is the flow, and then afterwards I'll get into the crowd of good people that we have surrounding us tonight here in the virtual Laden, and I like that, and I see happy and good faces, and I'm just happy. All right, so You Belong to Me goes out to basically everyone who is connected in different ways, and who feels connected, and so we are sending out here from the Great Pond House. And this is the idea of isolation. And because in the word isolation, we have the parola isola. And isola is the island. And island isolations are like more than brothers. They're just one entity. And so I thought it's the time where we're just isolated. But at the same time, we want to focus and we want to send out and we want to stay in touch. And we want to touch and we want to exchange. And this is I think I use this song for this message. I don't know. That's the flow. See the pyramids along the Nile. Watch the sunrise from a tropic isle. Till the darling dimples all the while. You belong to me. See the marketplace in old Algiers. Send me photographs and souvenirs. Just remember when a dream appears. You belong to me. I was so alone without you. Maybe you'll be lonesome too and blue. Fly the ocean in a silver plane. Feel the jungle when it's wet with rain. Just remember, darling, all the same, you belong to me. I'll be so alone without you. Maybe you'll be lonesome too and blue. Fly the ocean in a silver plane. Feel the jungle when it's wet with rain. Just remember till you home again. You belong to me. You belong to me. You belong to me. Muchas gracias. Molto elegante. Now, after this song, as I already said it, You Belong to Me. Every Thursday night, it's a way of belonging and yous and I's and we's. And so in this whole breeze, I'd like to welcome a variety. And we can go like from the west to the north and from the east to the west where the sun goes up. And just present people where just now geographically and I know they're coming from. And when I see what is more east, is Bulgaria, I think, is more east than Latvia, or?
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, so I mean, this is on the very east side. In Sofia, maybe it was a sunny day, I don't know, but in the 80s, I think, it was a great day for music and great day for people who want to have fun. Two brothers were born. And I think Bulgaria has another, like it's Feiertag basically ever since. And those brothers are the Vladigerov brothers, which I want to warmly welcome. Hallo Sascho.
Hi.
Hallo Josi.
Hello. Hello.
Schön, dass ihr da seid.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Always good to have you around. Always inspiring.
Freut uns dabei zu sein und hoffentlich allen geht es in diesen Zeiten gut und haben ein gutes Gefühl für Leben und für Musik, weiter in die Menschenrunde zu sein, ja.
Das ist wichtig, das ist wichtig. So Vladis are on board basically, and then we have Anna Veselova. The Vladigerov brothers just said that in Bulgarian they just decoded the name. Last week we had an artist from Greece, and she said that an other artist with a Ladinian name called Krafonara means in Greece the big boys. And I think Veselova, as the Vladis said in Bulgarian, means
The happy one, or
the happy one. So welcome, Anna, the happy one. You're originally from Latvia. Maybe you can say a few things when you moved to Austria, or I mean, what was the days or the weather at this point of the season?
So for me, I always say I'm also like Klimaflüchtling. Like I fled the climate because it's very cold and it's raining a lot in Latvia. And when I came to Graz to study, it was a complete change. I thought that it's the climate change is so real because it was so much warmer in September. Everybody was still wearing short sleeves. And it was a complete change to come from the north to Austria. And I've never seen mountains before. And it was really amazing to me, not only musically, but also culturally, to move to Austria. And I decided to stay there because I feel very well in Vienna. And now I'm a freelance musician. I play the cello. And I'm here since 9 years. Yeah.
And so far you didn't regret it?
No. I mean,
good.
I went away for a bit to appreciate Vienna more. I did Erasmus year in Spain, in San Sebastian. And last year I worked in Munich in a musical theater for 8 months. And then I came back to Vienna.
Yeah, welcome back. It's good to have you here. And when you said there are not too many mountains, if I imagine the Balticum, I have in mind from the Balticum Way, the great movement where 2 million people shaking hands all over the 3 Balticum states in 1989 in the summer, in August. It's all you see pictures from helicopters going and seeing really 2 million people over 600 miles. It was quite impressive. And it's basically quite flat, or the country, or is it just or it's just this highway?
No, yes, it was the year where I was born.
Really? You were born in 89?
Yes.
Where everybody was shaking hands. Wow.
I was too small to shake hands. It was like half year.
Amazing.
But yeah, it's completely flat. So the highest mountain in Latvia is 300 meters. And the name of the mountain is, it contains word mountain, which is ridiculous because it's not really a mountain. Yeah. So it's very windy and it's a lot of rain, and it has a different kind of beauty, the land. Yeah. Yeah,
sounds exciting. I mean, that's I didn't know that, but it's to be born on the year of the Balticum, the Baltic Way. That was quite a special year in history and for many countries, but also for your country. And it's exactly at one point, I think it'd be exciting to see and get to know more about the country, the people, and everything. I heard a bit of music, and so I'm curious also to listen to you later then. And then next to you in my picture setting, I see Floris. And hi, Floris.
Hello.
You're coming more from the west, from a European capital, as it couldn't be more capital in a way.
Exactly.
And your instrument is what brought you to Vienna, basically, and what is, maybe you can say a few words of growing up in, I don't know, in Brussels or in Belgium.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for having me. I'm very glad to be here. I came to Vienna because, maybe Brussels is the capital of Europe, but Vienna is, I think, the capital for classical music. So as a classical violinist, I came here to study violin. I grew up, not in Brussels, actually. I grew up in Flanders, in Flanders fields, close to Holland. But I was born in Liège, the city from Brussels. Yeah, and then when I was 21, I moved here to Vienna and I stayed here. Now I live here. Actually, not in Vienna. Maybe you can see the woods. I'm living in Purkersdorf,
Nice.
in Lower Austria, Niederösterreich, because I'm now with my girlfriend partner living here, and it's beautiful to be in the here and close to the city. So I'm really happy to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like, it looks like a great place to be kind of in quarantine.
Yes.
And then I just had a funny comment when you say in Liège or something, or in Flanders. Basically, I mean, when you look from Latvia, it's equally flat there, basically. Or I mean that there you don't have any mountains. Maybe
our highest mountain is 694 meters, and then they built stairs, and then we can get exactly to 700.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good story, basically.
Yeah.
I'm quite impressed that you know everything about the mountains and the heights. I wouldn't know about the highest mountain here in the area of Vienna, and I couldn't. I will work on that next time I have an answer to this. And then basically I see next is Christian Reiner. Magician on words and poetry and lyrical expression, and he's a man of black and white, getting into the arts of word and poetry and performance. And it's always great to have him around, and it's a very spontaneous and then also a very basic, with a lot of basis of literature and cultural heritage, basically, that he carries around with him. And even if he's very smooth in walking and performing, there's a lot of history in him and in the words, basically. So it's always good to listen to him. Don Cristiano, so how are you doing? How are things? How is your life and the lyric all around?
Fine.
Stupid question, sorry.
Fine. Everything's good.
Flat and good.
Yeah.
Can we have a short Banter, eine kurze sozusagen ein Sammelsurium an
Ach so, mal so ein, so ein Jingle. So.
a Jingle.
Ja, warte, ich versuche mal so eine kleine, so eine Mini-Session quasi so. Warte, damit habe ich jetzt natürlich nicht gerechnet.
Sorry, yeah, it's a.
Ja.
Oder erzähl was über die.
Es war mal vor allem die eine, die gesagt hat, dass sie früher vielleicht was anderes macht, aber man müsste mal sehen. Also von mir hat jemand gesagt, dass niemand ein König ist, solange er irgendwas anderes. Also von mir hat jemand gesagt, dass niemand. Von mir hat jemand gesagt, dass niemand. Also von mir hat jemand gesagt, dass niemand. König ist, solange gesagt, dass niemand ein König ist.
Von mir das gesagt. Grazie, danke Christian, molto elegante. And I like the scenery and the sound. It's a great mix. It looks like Anton Corbijn couldn't make a better picture of that.
Yeah.
And so Jürgen, I haven't talked to you in many years, but then I received a newsletter, I think, of Gemüseorchester last week, and then I just thought of you and your work and was checking in. And then suddenly it was always good checking in spontaneously into people's lives. And basically you're working or have been working in the last years on many different fields. And also, some quite interesting and fitting to the times results that you have, or whatever you build up in basically 3 different projects that I think you basically. Jürgen is also an artist in sound, in producing and going into different ways, and also very close to words. And so I think I would say music, sounds, electronics, but also a classical soundscape. So basically he can go anywhere, and he goes that far that he even makes music out of vegetables and decoding mammoth and animals. So basically anywhere in the world that you can go, you can leave your music or sonic footprint. Is that right? Or
Yes. First of all, thank you for the invitation, and I was very glad and happy to hear from you. And basically, it very often it sounds as if the things are very different that I do, but they have a lot in common. So I would say it's always the question of, it's a transformation process. So I always ask myself, how can you transform what you perceive, what you see, into pieces of art, of music, or of literature? And that's the glue, this basic idea that holds together all my different projects. So when it comes to the Vegetable Orchestra, shall I talk about it already, or is it just...
Yeah, it would be great.
Okay, yeah.
So, you can always talk about vegetables.
Yeah, the Vegetable Orchestra is a project that, in the meantime, it exists for more than 20 years. And it was just meant to be a single performance, We just thought we go on stage like a classical single performance, and we do something that no one would expect, and we will try to make music with something that has no musical potential at all, vegetables. And so we did that. And it turned out that it became very successful immediately. And now, 20 years later, we still perform, we still play all around the planet, or we did until now. And that's a Vegetable Orchestra. To say a few things about it, it's an orchestra that at the moment it consists of 8 people, 8 different musicians and artists in general. And what we do is we try to create music just entirely of vegetables. So the idea is really to perform as an orchestra, to use fresh vegetables, and we have to build those fresh vegetables, build instruments out of them, and perform with it. And yeah, during all these 20 years, we produced four albums and played numerous concerts all around the world.
And you would also, if I'm correct, I mean, you would also be on tour right now, or is there something?
Yes, on tour, in general, we have 1 or 2 concerts per month somewhere in Europe, somewhere on this world. And just 1 or 2 days before the lockdown came here in Austria, we should have gone to Portugal to play concerts and to give workshops. And now in May, we should also go to Portugal just for quite a lot of concerts. But yeah, it is all being cancelled now. And yeah, but basically, yes, we traveled and hope to travel in the future again. Travel quite a lot, yeah.
But I mean, it's also, I think what I hear is it's quite renowned. People you're playing at all different festivals, or you told me formerly also at one point, I don't know, there's Paul McCartney was involved, or CNN is asking. So I mean, it gives you really all over the planet. People listen to the Vegetables, and I guess are excited about it.
Yeah, it's spread over the years, and the very interesting thing is that we don't have any genres, We can play at festivals that are very much into avant-garde, experimental music, but we also play at classical festivals and in concert situations where more classical musicians are asked for. And the music is, we have abstract layers, at the same time we use club-oriented beats or something like that, and a lot of contemporary elements. So that's the interesting thing. I played at experimental festivals like in Huddersfield in Great Britain, or on the Isle of Wight, at the big festival there for pop music, for instance.
Yeah, but Jimi Hendrix performed in Isle of Wight. I mean,
yeah, it was a huge thing, and it works in both. It works in both worlds, or more than even that. The best thing always is to play in theaters where we have our own situation, because we need a certain kind of intimacy to transport the idea of the Vegetable sounds, for instance. So if you like to, I can, we were talking about that, and I can, what we do is we take vegetables and transform them into instruments. We have different categories here. One category that we have are so-called ready-made instruments, that are instruments that you just go to the market or supermarket, buy them, and you play with them. For instance, I have leeks here, We call it, if we take it like this and use it like this, it's like a leek violin. I hope you can hear that now. That's one thing you can do with just 2 pieces of leeks. A leek is quite an interesting thing, because you can use this very thin membrane here too, and create different kind of instruments then. Another one that I really like, and no one would think of this as an instrument, these are onions and onion peels, and I like this crackling of these onion peels. Just hear it here. Sounds a little bit like vinyl, like old vinyl. You play them. Another thing is you can do with 2 onions, if you have them like this, is just like brushes, and you can create. Very nice. And we did a jam session already. Great thing. Just another thing, I like it a lot. An eggplant or an aubergine. It's a percussion instrument. The easiest way to use it is you just use it like this. or yeah, that are ready-made instruments now. What you can do is you can just take a knife, just cut it like this into two halves, create a clap out of it, and then you have some kind of kick drum, if you like. So. Yeah, they seem to be very capable of doing Zoom concerts with it. So we have to when we do a concert, you know, when we play a concert, we have to prepare things all day. In general, you have to buy them in the morning. It takes 2 or 3 hours at least to build all these instruments. These are very easy instruments now. You know, we built all kinds of that. And then the technical aspect is very important because our sound check takes at least 4 hours. So before we go on stage, we have to work for 6 or 7 hours to get it all done. And for this reason, I have prepared, or I've just sent a link that we can maybe have a short look at it. It's a video that we did a few years ago, and it just shows how this vegetable orchestra, how a concert really works. The performance starts in the morning when we go and buy vegetables, and it ends after the concert with a soup. Our last piece is a vegetable soup that we cook during the day, and we serve it to the audience on stage, which is a nice thing.
Okay, that sounds great. I think Mike and Teresa prepared the video of you, Jürgen. So
Okay.
I think they can show it. If we're linking that video, we won't see it.
Okay.
Jürgen.
So we can talk now.
Sieht er? Ich weiß nicht. Können wir reden?
Also wir müssen, das wäre sonst so.
Das stimmt, oder?
Wer geht?
good, looks good. Okay, danke Jürgen. Neben dem langen Soundcheck nehme ich auch an, I think the after party must always be very funny. And now we jump, I think, into the Brothers Bloodigueros living room. I see a trumpet and I see a piano. Can we listen to you as if we just guests without knowing, sneaking in?
Hört ihr uns gut? You hear?
I hear you.
Yeah,
Looks good and sounds good.
So I hear you.
Okay, what will we play? What are we gonna play? Yeah.
Line for Lions.
Okay.
Some swing for you.
We're gonna play now Line for Lions from Jerry Mulligan. We love that piece. It's a jazz tune. And congratulations to all of the world, all of our good friends with a good jazz tune and very good. After it's now 10 days, no, but a week after the International Jazz Day. It was at 30th of April. And yes, we planned this a lot of, it's enjoying the music. Okay, enjoy the Line for Lions. We love you.
Hey, mucho gusto. I think Gary Mulligan couldn't have had a better mood when writing this song or performing this piece of music. Fantastico. I think it's that's the mood of swing in its best, basically. That's the core of a vegetable of the swing, I would say. Fantastico. And from the Bulgarian language, because I sometimes have a hard time memorizing things. Veselova means the happy face, or the
It's just the happy one. It's an adjective.
happy one. So, and for everyone who wants to learn Bulgarian, if you remember your name, Veselova, I'm sure Anna means also something. At least one, the happy one. Exactly. Happy Anna. Anyway, Anna, so what is your being the violoncello? I mean, is that for you that you basically set in the classic world, or can you also like have interest in different kind of forms of music? Or if it's the classic world, the main focus, what are the composers that you like most? And maybe, I don't know, if you have something that you could show us and perform with us, which is, if possible, you don't have to, obviously, it's just a flow.
Yes, sure, I will play for you. I will play one of my favorite composers, Johann Sebastian Bach, who wrote 6 suites for unaccompanied cello, which is perfect because I'm in a lockdown. And so I'm basically, of course, I studied classical cello, and I was very focused in classical music, and I still am, but now I'm trying new styles out. I played in a musical theater, and I play often in an orchestra which records film music, which is also very exciting because it's a completely different type of music making. We all get headphones with prelays and a click track, and we play very precisely, and within this we have to also make music, which is, it's very interesting kind of music making. But of course I also play a lot of classical music in orchestras and in classical formations like quartet or trio. And of course, a lot of concerts were cancelled, and these concerts had a lot of music from Beethoven, which is we're in the year of Beethoven now. And I was actually planning to play the 9th Symphony, the 5th Symphony, the Cello Sonata by Beethoven, a lot of works by Beethoven, which is also one of my favorite composers. And otherwise, of course, there are some other projects. Like recently, one of the most interesting projects was to play in an orchestra together with a drum and bass band, and we played their tracks, but they were orchestrated. And we played this in Vienna Concert House. And it was really unbelievable because it felt like we're in a club, but it was the stage, the big stage of Vienna Concert Hall, where I've played so many other classical concerts. And I don't know, it was like a different experience, but it was very powerful. So before that,
what was the band? Sorry, what was the band called?
Crooked. The band's name is Camo and Crooked. Actually, today they released this album from the live performance. So I listened to it on Spotify. So I like a lot of styles, also jazz music, but I haven't played yet. So it would be also something to try. Maybe more improvisation, and So I will play for you one piece from the suites for cello by Bach, and it will be the Saraband, which is a slow dance, originally from Spain, and it's a bit serious, but I think it's good that some of us have more serious pieces, maybe for variety. And I'm already apologizing for the quality of my microphone because I wasn't prepared for this new reality. So I hope you can enjoy the Saraband.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. How do you say thank you in Latvian? Is it spasiba or is it
Paldies.
Huh?
Paldies.
Paldies.
Audience.
Paldies. Anyway, last question now on in this section is this when you're in the times of lockdown and you perform and you get into one composer or so, if you play, I mean maybe for project but also for yourself, was there one composer that you suddenly discovered in the last 2 months that normally maybe you would pass by and you don't really get into? Or is that a stupid question? Maybe it's a stupid question.
It's hard to say. I was very focused on practicing for my upcoming projects, so I don't lose time. But we decided to play with a friend of mine, a duo by Ravel. She's a violinist, so I mean now we started practicing together because it's sort of allowed again. So this was also, I felt more people are open to play together and just maybe meet up for sight reading because everybody has missed playing together. So now I think the parties will always include sight reading and playing together.
That's
because
good.
people, they just say, come over to my place and we will have wine. And they say, and bring your cello because I want to play something. And people are just, lonely and they want to play together with other people, exchange and make music together.
That's good and inspiring. Yeah, thank you, Anna. And exactly. So everyone, even if I can't really, I'm not good in sight reading, but I'll bring notes along to all the places we might go in the near future, at some point at least. I don't know, is Christian, I see the black and white and the great microphone, I see a shadow, I see the man. Christian, can I ask you if you had some lyricists, some poetry? Did you write your own poetry in these days? Did you had some book that was guiding you in the last weeks? What? I mean, it's all about words.
Also ich muss gestehen, dieses Jahr habe ich mich besonders wieder mit Friedrich Hölderlin auseinandergesetzt. Das ist ja, der geht ja vielleicht manchmal so ein bisschen unter, aber Moment mal, der wird ein bisschen früher 250 als Beethoven, ja, der ist es nämlich schon, im Gegensatz zu Beethoven, nur mal nebenbei bemerkt. Und ja, und da habe ich für das Hölderlin-Museum, das jetzt natürlich geschlossen hat, aber für die habe ich, die haben jetzt neu eröffnet dieses Jahr auch wieder, die hatten lange zu in Tübingen und für die habe ich sehr viel Hölderlin-Gedichte eingesprochen, eben für dieses Museum. Und das war eine große Freude und das hat halt auch urlang gedauert, weil das finde ich ja auch cool, das heißt, ich mache das auch gerne und dann mache das auch lang und 100 Mal, bis es dann irgendwie so ist, wie ich das gerne hätte. Aber ja, das war ein großer Spaß. Und jetzt wurde ja gerade schon von Beethoven so gesprochen. Und bei mir ist es halt eben so, Hölderlin ist so, ja, also es gibt eine Frau, die heißt Dora Schwarzberg. Ja, und die hat mal so, die sagt auf so eine Diskussion, wenn so, ja, der ist cool und der ist cool, aber Moment mal, Beethoven ist der Boss. Ja, das war so der Spruch. Und bei mir ist das quasi Hölderlin. Also das ist quasi das Gleiche. Ich würde auch sagen, so Gedichte schreiben viele und alles ist auch gut, aber Hölderlin ist der Boss. Und das hat eben sehr viel Spaß gemacht. Ja, das ist das, was ich jetzt so gemacht habe. Und auch während der Quarantäne dann noch so weitergemacht. Dann habe ich auch so ein bisschen gestreamt. Was mir natürlich schon fehlt, sind die Mitmusiker. Das ist natürlich ein bisschen ein hartes Brot. Das läuft ja jetzt auch noch nicht wirklich an. Also, weil so dieses Improvisieren einfach mit jemandem, das ist halt einfach was anderes. Ja, Punkt, brauchen wir nicht drüber reden. Also es ist super, was wir hier machen und wie das geht. Und dass das geht, ist natürlich auch toll. Aber ja, am Anfang hat es mir gar nicht so gefehlt. Dachte ich, Mensch, endlich hat noch mal die Ruhe und endlich mal nicht so viel Rennerei. Das ist doch ganz cool. Aber jetzt wird es schon ein bisschen eng. Also jetzt würde ich die Leute dann schon gern wieder sehen und mit ihnen in einem Raum spielen.
Mhm. Kann ich nachvollziehen. Also wir hätten nachher auf jeden Fall ein paar Musiker hier. Wir könnten wenn wir Latenzen mit einberechnen dürfen, könnten wir dich jederzeit sozusagen begleiten.
Ja, wen kümmern Latenzen um diese Uhrzeit?
Aber ja, hättest du so quasi als wenn jetzt du alleine wärst zu Hause,
Ja.
hättest du quasi, wir könnten reinsneaken in dich für dich, wäre das, könnten wir eben, ja, auch diese Frage ist blöd. Hättest du irgendein Stückchen für uns sozusagen, in das wir auch eintauchen könnten in deine Welt, in dein Living Room, so dass
Ja. Ja. Wie Stückchen? Was meinst du mit Stückchen?
naja, one piece of art,
Okay, alles klar. Jetzt hab ich
einen
verstanden.
Hölderlin
Ja, ja. Ach so, ein Hölderlin. Ah,
oder einen
alles klar.
Rainer oder einen Rielke.
Ja, jetzt sagst du das. Ich bin ja heute, weil ich habe mich heute schon wieder auf die zwei Brüder gefreut und dachte so, die mich ja tatsächlich vor ein paar Tagen für den Soundcheck am Samstag sehr überrascht haben mit Rilke. Und seither bin ich so ein bisschen im Rilke-Groove. Ja, das ist so, ja, Rilke. Und ich habe ja da schon eins gesprochen. Und ich habe jetzt natürlich auch, ich habe mich vorbereitet und habe natürlich mal so ein paar Rilkes hingelegt. Also erstmal der Panther, ja, weil ich weiß noch nicht genau, ob der hundertprozentig auswendig läuft, aber das machen wir ja vielleicht zusammen mit den zwei Brüdern, oder? Das ist so. Ist das noch so?
Wow, das ist ja fantastisch.
Und wir versuchen die erste Strophe ein bisschen reinzuspielen und dann können wir zusammen machen.
Wie? Ja, genau. Perfekt. Super, ja. Genau. Dann würde ich doch sagen, pass auf, ich mache jetzt einfach mal, ich lese mal Rilke. Ich schau mal, was so passiert, wenn ich jetzt mal Rilke anreiße. Und erstmal ein Gedicht, das aus 3 Teilen besteht. Ich weiß ja auch noch gar nicht, ob man das jetzt ganz liest oder was damit passiert, hier in meinem Living Room. Aber wir schauen uns das mal an. Und ich habe den Panther auch parat. Und wenn die Jungs dann irgendwann mal einsteigen, dann weiß ich, jetzt ist der Panther dran oder eben andersrum. Wenn ich den Panther mache, wissen die Jungs, jetzt wird es Zeit einzusteigen oder so. Oder?
Okay.
Okay, und alles, was wir jetzt an Regeln aufgestellt haben, können wir sofort wieder vergessen, weil sonst ist es ja nicht improvisiert. Gut. Eins. Ich hielt mich überoffen. Ich vergaß, dass draußen nicht nur Dinge sind und voll in sich gewohnte Tiere, deren Aug aus ihres Lebens Rundung anders nicht hinausreicht als ein eingerahmtes Bild. Dass ich in mich allem immerfort Blicke hineinriss. Blicke, Meinung, Neugier. Wer weiß, es bilden Augen sich im Raum und wohne bei. Ach, nur zu dir gestürzt ist mein Gesicht nicht ausgestellt, verwächst in dich und setzt sich dunkel unendlich fort. In dein geschütztes Herz. Wie wenn man ein Tuch vor angehäuften Atem, nein, wie wenn man es an eine Wunde presst, aus der das Leben ganz in einem Zug hinaus will, hielt ich dich an mich. Ich sah. Du wurdest rot von mir. Wer spricht es aus, was uns geschah? Wir holten jedes nach, wozu die Zeit nie war. Ich reifte seltsam, 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 seltsam. In jedem Antrieb übersprungener Jugend. Und du, Geliebte, hattest irgendeine wildeste Kindheit über meinem Herzen. 3. Entsinnen ist da nicht genug. Es muss von jenen Augenblicken puren Daseins auf meinem Grunde sein, ein Niederschlag der unermesslich überfüllten Lösungen. Denn ich gedenke nicht, das, was ich bin, rührt mich um deinetwillen. Ich erfinde dich nicht an traurig ausgekühlten Stellen, von wo du wegkamst. Selbst, dass du nicht da bist, ist warm von dir und wirklicher und mehr als ein Entbehren. Sehnsucht geht zu oft ins Ungenaue. Warum soll ich mich auswerfen, während mir vielleicht dein Einfluss leicht ist, wie Mondschein einem Platz am Fenster? Ja, und schon war der Rilke da.
Rilke comes and goes, that's fantastico.
Ja.
Und elegante. Ich habe mir eingebildet, ich habe Panther gehört vorher und das war irgendwie die Idee so quasi im Raume. Wollen wir das in der nächsten Runde machen oder seid ihr warm gegroovt oder machen wir eine kurze Pause?
However you like it.
Okay. Na, dann machen wir den Groove weiter und ich würde gerne Floris hören, wenn ich darf. Floris, yeah. So you, as you said, you moved into you come from the capital of Europe and moved to the music capital of Europe, basically. And what is your instrument is the violin. You play in big orchestra houses. You're considered as one of the top emergent artists also in your mother country. And you play on the big stages, and you have a variety of different. Also, when you find in the net, also that you have a variety of different projects going. Maybe you can just quickly, in a few sentences, say what is your main project you're working right now. And if it's not too much to ask, it would be great to hear you also perform a bit for us, if it fits the mood.
Yeah. So, I'm still studying here at university, finishing next year classical violin. So one of the big projects going on now is the classical repertoire. And what I like doing as well is other genres. I have a group in Belgium with 3 friends. They all have red hair like me. And we basically do a mixture of all genres, going from classical pieces, and we put them into a flames version, I like to call.
Maybe that's the internet. Yeah.
Sorry?
No, it was stuck just for a second. The picture. It's
okay. Sorry, but so that's one of my projects, and another project is. Now I feel, especially in these times of Corona, sometimes concerned about some other crisis, like the climate crisis, and I'm asking myself, how can I, as a musician or as a person, make contributions to a better future? Who inspire me. One is, for example, Arvo Pärt from Estland, and another from your country, actually, Anna, Petris Vasks and Max Richter, and to name a few. So I like, there's kind of a meditative, contemplative aspect in this music, which, I don't know, I feel connected to nature through them. So I like to play this kind of more minimalistic music, more pieces. For first run, I have the same composer that you had, Anna, Bach, because he is one of the top from all composers. And I have a piece for solo violin by Max Richter, which is called Berlin by Overnight. A very short piece that I discovered a few months ago, actually. But I find this composer so fascinating, and I was so glad that he wrote a piece for solo violin. So yeah, I mean, first.
Every now the internet connection is hanging, but that sounds very, very interesting. From Arvo Pärt to Max Richter, it's a great line of composers.
Do you want me to play now the Richter, or do you prefer to hear Bach?
I don't know. Personally, I mean, I would love to hear. I mean, I love Bach, but I'm around the Bach here. It would be great to maybe have Max Richter in
yeah. I switch camera so that I can stand.
Wonderful, wonderful. Beautiful. No, very, very strong music. And I can hear I can hear the closeness to nature by you being in nature, somewhere not too far away from Purkersdorf to Vienna. And the theme is so great of the whole situation that it's good. It's an entry door to enter to all of those musicians and composers that you named. Thank you, Flores, very much. That was a great piece of art. And yeah, so we're circling around again. If it's okay to come back to Jürgen, into knocking on your living door.
Yeah. Hi.
You're still here? Hi,
I'm
Jürgen.
here, yeah.
And you developed something in the last years that you can explain much better than I can, which is also at these days quite interesting. And it's about getting into the deepest modular pieces in order to create large new entities and experiences. So you have basically something that, I don't know, Inspector Clouseau or Sherlock Holmes didn't have. You can go into the variety and the deepest DNA in a sonic and artistic approach. And maybe you can tell us about your project and your development and getting into between the borders of science and of art.
Yeah. Yeah, what I did is I had the opportunity a few years ago to work together with geneticists. And at that time, I developed a sonificator. It's a software basically that is based on a genetic system called Codon. And with that system and with that software I developed, based on that system, I can translate DNA sequences into sound and musical parameters of all kinds. So the idea, Codon, just to explain it very short, is a system in genetics where the base, the four, adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, those are the basis of life, so to say. And this codon system always takes triplets, 3 of them, and codes them into amino acids, 64 keys, and it transforms them into 20 amino acids. And I use this system, but I don't code or transform into amino acids, but in musical parameters of all kind. And by using this kind of software and by applying this kind of system, I have the possibility to use all kind of genetic sequences and, transform them into music. For me, it's like a non-human jam session partner, and I can play with it partner. And I did a few compositions with that and soundscapes with that. I used DNA sequences of dengue viruses or malaria, the Falciparum plasmodium falciparum, or I used simple things also like DNA sequences of spruce by combining it then with the music of guitars, for instance. And my last thing, I'm still working on that, is I just used the genome of the COVID-19 virus, and I just sonificated these DNA sequences into a soundscape. It's not really finished yet. I just have a demo version of it, and for me it's some kind of I call it a sonic vaccine. By listening to it, you get an idea of how vaccines work, and that you use the genetic informations of the virus and create something out of it that is something positive, that that maybe heals people or prevents them from getting sick and ill. And it can also create sound and soundscapes and music, and that's what I did. And I just sent you over my actual piece that is a demo version with a little video to it, so where it rains, all these DNA sequences are raining down, and maybe we can just have a short look into it and play it now.
So if Mike and Teresa can prepare the video, it'd be great. Exactly, we can have a glimpse and an idea to get into your work and your new piece. Thank you for offering the curtain view. Let's go. the clocks of the church were back. And yeah, so thanks, Jürgen, for this feature. And I think it's also a part of this project to have the different kind of insights in living rooms and just see where we're all at, basically. And I think it's a very interesting sequence. And I don't know really of any time in history where people were locked out and cover ideas of playing Bach, Max Richter, Gary Mulligan, Hölderlin, and sonic sequencing. So I think it's the first time we're all out there and combining all those different versions and places of music. And it's generally also, like Floris said, I mean, there are many bigger themes also that we're facing. I think in a mix of it, it's something where we move and we add and we have to be aware of things and should not forget other things. But anyway, from this quite interesting approach, and anyway, it's something that I will follow in the future. So I hope you keep me aware of things, Jürgen, in your I don't know, DNA profiling house or atelier. It's I think it's opening to many things. I think you sequence from the mammoth to could be anything, as you said, from Ebola to the virus and COVID, and maybe bring in solutions for the science. Often art is defining ideas and solutions that art is taking on and finding specifically an answer of things.
Yeah,
and
I don't see it that way. You know, for me, it's the whole thing is for me some kind of a musical narrational motor. I call it that way, you know, by using a certain DNA sequence and by creating music out of it and soundscapes out of it. I just try to tell a story about something, you know, and that's the nice thing. Everything that lives has the DNA and you can use it and just create a narration with it. So it's more that I think the scientists are much better in how to deal with the things. It's just an idea of tell stories, you know, narrations.
Yeah, but the world, I think, is growing on stories and narrations, and so I mean, I think it's also a measurement of identity and the individual and the variety that we have. Is that everybody has his own story, and it's great just to have narrations around and also inspire people to tell their story. And so this is also what science does, and that's also what art does. So I think there's at least a relevance and a bridge, and this is nice.
Yeah, and it's a combination.
A combination, exactly. And so from that bridge, I'd like to jump back into the classical world, basically, or in if we're knocking on Anna's flat again, if you let us in, basically, and in the question, is there anything else that would you let us see here? Is there a piece that you have easily around you and to be performed, or?
Well, I prepared another piece by Bach because I think it just sounds the best anywhere. You know, it's just perfect for cello, and I would like to play for you a fast dance this time from the suite for the cello, and it's called Jig, and it's originally a fast dance from England where people would sit in pubs and they would stamp their feet and they would stamp together the jars of beer.
We can do that.
So this is more for the end of the session. So, and of course Bach, he arranged it more artfully, and but you can still hear the spirit, I hope, of it. So it's very cheerful, and I hope it will also cheer you up as it did me during this lockdown, because I think always if you feel down, for every musician, or you feel insecure or maybe lost, if you play a little Bach, you will feel better instantly. So it has really a healing power. So I hope that you will enjoy.
It brings you Bach in life.
back to back.
Back to Bach. Instant Bach happiness, basically. Here we're going. Thank you very much. So that's Veselova, as we say in the Bulgarian language.
For inviting me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for exactly letting us part. It's always a nice journey without leaving the house. Just entering so many living rooms and spirits and. So it's also, I think, to me, it's also in the moment, also like a beautiful documentation of these times, and also it's a collective, it would fill the whole week basically of visiting all of you and just chatting, and now it's I think a bit of a spot and seeing where everyone is at, and this is also like symbolizing a lot to me. Maybe I can't explain it in words, but it's inspiring and. It's a great journey into, exactly, from Avoperd to Jürgen Berlakovic, we go into Panther von Rilke, and then we go to Bach. It's just a nice journey, and it's and nobody knows in the beginning where we're going, and I think that's very close to life. And I saw Christian Reiner walking around, and I see the Brüder. Could I have because I saw in the back of Anna, there is this case that reminds me of a Panther. If I say Panther, is there a chance just if we know Zoom is not so good in latency, but as Christian Reiner said, it's so late, who cares about latency? Should we try?
Ja, would like, maybe, vielleicht, Chris, liest du das vor, der Panther? Und wir spielen dir, oder ich versuche zu singen, dass wir dann die erste Strophe oder was wir geschrieben haben. Ist das ein... Ja, okay, machen wir so. Liest du es vor und wir werden es nachsingen.
Gut, alles klar, wird erledigt.
Ja.
Aber hey, Moment mal. Wollt ihr nicht vielleicht auch ein bisschen einsteigen oder so? Ihr könnt ruhig auch mal was machen oder so, also währenddessen.
Nee, das ist okay.
Wie gesagt, Latenz, ist doch Quatsch.
Alle?
Also so ein bisschen mal. Gucken wir, was passiert, ja?
Ja,
Und wundert euch nicht, wenn ich mich auch vielleicht mal kurz einmische.
Okay, wir spielen dir das die erste Takte vor.
Okay, cool.
Sein Blick ist vom Vorübergehen der Stäbe so müd geworden, dass es nichts mehr hält. Ihm ist also es 1000 Stäbe geben. Und hinter 1000 Stäbe keine Welt.
Sein Blick ist vom Vorübergehen der Stäbe so müd geworden, dass er nichts mehr hält. Ihm ist, als ob es 1000 Stäbe gäbe und hinter 1000 Stäben keine Welt. Der weiche Gang,
Geschmeidig starke Schritte,
geschmeidig starker Schritte,
der sich im allerkleinste Kreise dreht,
im allerkleinsten Kreise dreht,
ist wie ein Tanz
und Kraft,
von Krafttum,
um eine Mitte,
eine Mitte,
in der betäubt ein großer Wille steht.
in der betäubt ein großer Wille steht.
Nur manchmal schiebt der Vorhang der Pupille sich lautlos auf. Dann geht ein Bild hinein, geht durch der Glieder angespannte Stille und hört im Herzen auf zu sein.
Nur manchmal schiebt der Vorhang der Pupille sich lautlos auf. Dann geht ein Bild hinein.
Ist wie ein Tanz von Kraft. Um eine Mitte,
Und hört im Herzen auf zu sein.
in der betäubt ein großer Wille steht.
Glaube ich, das ist gut. Danke dir, Chris.
Danke euch, super.
Danke.
Musik in Rilke, Dominik Vladigerov, Christian.
Ja, große Rilke-Brücken hier. Das ist, ja. Da ist noch viel, da ist noch viel zu erzählen. Also ich glaube, dass in dem Hause Vladigerov und Rainer, da kann noch einiges entstehen, was da ist noch, ja.
Ja.
Es ist so wie eine gemeinsame Bootsfahrt. Auf jeden Fall. Ja, danke sehr.
Danke sehr für die Einladung. Das ist
Ja,
ein Fest.
Dominik,
immer gerne. Ich fühle mich sehr wohl hier in lauter nette, gute Gesichter.
darf ich einen Vorschlag machen zum Stück von Flori? Der hat was im 7/8 gespielt, damit das die nicht so traurig bleibt. Wir spielen eine kurze Motiv Es ist nicht wie so wie sein Stück, aber es ein sehr ähnliches Rhythmus hat. Das ist es, was ich aufgeschrieben habe. Und das Tres, und das Tres, und das. Nur kurz davor. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, Have a night.
Okay, now talking about Rilke. I see Christian over there and Flores actually. Yeah, so it's enlarged. Wonderful.
So,
It's maybe from Bulgaria to Purkastov.
and
If okay, from 7/8 to 6/4, I don't know. If there is if you have something that is close to you, a piece of work, and then that fits also with the mission and the feelings that you're in, it would be nice to listen if possible.
Yeah,
But-
pleasure. Yeah. Bach, like he wrote 6 sonatas and partitas, not only for cello but also for violin.
yes.
And Anna just played the partita, which is a suite of dances. And I will play for you from the sonata, which is a suite of 4 movements actually, which not meant to be danced on. And I played a fugue. So I don't know if all our listeners know what a fugue is. Short, brief. 2 bars, which is figured on the whole piece through, yeah, which is a genius masterwork. And before Bach, actually, they put words onto that. So actually, the theme, if I just play it for you, is this one. No, very short. And maybe before they could have said something like, "Come, let us play for a green future," you know, something like this. And then there is another one. And then, so now you can guess how many times he will repeat it throughout the whole piece. Here is Bach's fugue.
Thank you, Floris. Thank you, Floris. That was powerful.
Thank you.
Powerful
Pleasure.
and emotional. Yeah, we're coming, I think, to pretty much an end. I'd love to make a last step into into Jürgen's flat if I knock on your door. We said maybe, I don't know, if time there's something electronic that you have around or you can share, or some, I don't know, you have also some old music, and you play from Bach in electronic versions. Is there something that is inspiring you in being part of a lot of Bach is one of the main persons of tonight. And before, exactly, there's also like Beethoven. In 2 days, on Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning, we have a matinee where the arrangement of Cosi Vladigerov of Beethoven's Ninth will be performed in a very extended version. Joy by Christian Reiner. And so this takes place at 11 o'clock on Saturday, and the link will be on the Verein 08 website. And it's basically 250 years of Beethoven. It will be the party also for 75 years of United Nations. Actually, that's the same age as Bob Marley. He's also 75. And so there are many people. My aunt just turned 75 yesterday, so I think it's quite an interesting year for many people. It's also 70 years of the Schuman Declaration, which was the basic speech for the European Union. And it's also 25 years of Austria being part of the European Union. So it's a combination of great themes and ventures. And it's going to be a live stream with many of the artists that you saw tonight. And then also like productions and live speeches by the United Nations General Secretary and many others. So it's going to be a nice flow, and I think an interesting birthday party that can only be created in these kind of times. It's going to be quite unique, I think. And Saturday from 10:45, so 15 minutes to 11, we're going to start streaming. That wasn't English enough, but anyway, we just do what we do. And yeah, so tune in, and would be fun to see you, or to if you see us, or I mean like them. And anyway, so yeah, that was From Bach to Beethoven. Thanks for having played Bach, otherwise I would maybe forget to announce. I'm not good in announcing, but anyway, that was a good move. And yeah, Jürgen, you also like the range of music is basically a couple of 100 years, or that you take for inspiration.
Yeah, no, I just produced an album a few years ago, and I had this idea to combine abstract electronic sounds with elements or inspirations of early music and on classical guitar. And what I can do now is I can just try to play one of those things. Let's see how it works on over Zoom. And it's a piece called Cinescopy Notturno, which is good for an end. It's a notturno. It's quite a quiet piece with a little bit of electronics in it. So let's see.
That was a great. That was a great flow, and I think it comes to me that you have the same initials like Johann Sebastian Bach. I think so. It was a great bow from Jürgen Belakovic to Johann Sebastian
Exactly,
Bach.
yes.
Johann Bach to Jürgen Belakovic. And so I would just join in and finish with our classic song that we have. And there's one, maybe we can start with the Vladigerovs. And I found this 45, Always Look on the Bright Side, the single here. It's found it in my living room, so I thought I'd just bring it along, and maybe we just make a short version of it, and it would be nice, the idea, just exactly, who wants to whistle along or just swing or sing along? Even if Zoom doesn't take it, it's a nice setting, and saying thank you for listening, for joining, for sharing, and hopefully see you on Saturday. And yeah, let's take it on. Thank you to the Vladigerov brothers. That was great having you here. Molto elegante, grazie mille, so nice, so good. Muchos gustos. Thank you, Christian Reiner, for performing the Hölderlin. He's the boss, you know. It's not Springsteen, it's Hölderlin. And this is something I learned. I learned that in Latvia, we have the highest mountain is 300 meters. Thank you, Anna, for sharing all those stories. And thank you, Flores. I learned in close to Liege, we have 600 meters, then 690, and then with the stairs, we're going to 700. So it's a lot of information on the European landscape. And thank you to JB, Jürgen Belakovic, for the European soundscape. And yeah, let's go into the finale. Whoever wants to join, it's great, because we don't care if there's latency. As Christian Reiner says, when it's late, there is no latency. I like that. Muchas gracias a todos los personas. It's all about life in the end.
Always look on the bright side of love. One, two, three. Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Always look on the bright side of life. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. It's a piece of shit. When you look at it, you can stumble, you can humble, you can fall. If you're looking on, let's whistle, give the audience a whistle. Remember that the last love is on you. And always look on the bright side of life. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Ein Blick ist vorübergehende Stäbe. Ein Blick ist vorübergehende Stäbe.
If Jive Tim's jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten, and that's to laugh, to sing and smile and sing. If you listen on like you don't be silly chums, remember that the last laugh is on you. And always look on the bright side of life. And always look on the bright side of life. As tonight is on and that's the final word, it's always on the little with a friend. If you choose to go on this silly drum, remember that the last is on
Blick ist vorübergehende
Oh, this was the House of Hearts. Thanks to all of you for taking part. Thank you, Sashko, for your trumpet. Thank you, Anna, for your cello. Thank you, Flores, for your percussive violin. Yeah, sing it. And we go from the violin to the aubergine. Thank you, Jürgen, for onions and Bach. And it's good to know, at least somewhere in the world, there's a vaccine against COVID. And it's right there.
Dominic.
Thank you, Cozy. You know that Mozart said, Cozy fan tutte. And he know
Dominic Amici.
it's all about you. Così fan tutti. And it's always fun with you. And it was always fun with tutti. Thank you, Cristiano, for bringing in Rainer and Rilke, Feiner and Wilke.
Of love,
Japadababa.
right side of life.
Thank you, Mike and Teresa.
Yeah, Mike. Thank you.
For setting up the Zoom and everything around it. For making us glass and glazer right.
Danke.
Danke.